headquarters of Clan Design Consultants, next to the
world-renowned, no longer Pizza Hut that's under construction.
Breaks my heart.
But there's a Taco Bell, there's a McDonald's.
What?
The average weight of a BDC.
Come on, you don't eat that kind of stuff.
No,
You're like, maybe fish once in a while, lots of greens.
Quick guess is what opens up where Pizza Hut is.
Ooh.
Round Table. That's my guess.
No, it won't be pizza.
Chick-fil-A.
By the way, are you shocked that Pizza Hut went out of business?
No! It took him an hour and 15 minutes to deliver to us, and we're 80 feet away.
But like every episode on Retireholics, we have the beer of the episode, and we are fortunate enough that a friend of ours, an advisor friend, brought these to us today. They'll remain nameless because we don't want to bring them down their reputation to our
Shall we say a fan? A friend? Is that F word?
He's getting into F words already.
I'll open mine, Chad. Brandon has told me there is no such thing as fans for the show.
Do we have group? Thanks a lot.
There you go.
My wife's never watched an episode, but she says she's a fan.
Yeah.
Tell us what we're drinking, Chad.
Well, there's a variety of beers in front of us, but we're drinking from a brewery called Dust Bowl, which is out of Turlock, California. From what I understand, quite the buildup of a recent taste room. Interesting, as I was reading up on a little bit about the actual brewery itself, Dust Bowl. Where do you guys think that thought comes from?
I see the signs on I-5 constantly, save the Dust Bowl, or you created the Dust Bowl, but I don't know what it is.
Well, you're going the right
Cows.
direction.
There's cows on that road.
Is it just really dusty?
Very dusty.
It's like that bowl that you don't use that gathers dust.
Yeah, haven't you seen the movie Interstellar? Like where the dust
No, I have
gathers
not
on
seen
the
that,
plate?
Chad. Stop trying to make me watch that
You
stupid
guys
movie.
know I'm
Matthew McConaughey is not worthy of my time. All right.
Shame
Mark,
on you.
this is a 401k show,
Oh, that's right,
so stop
forgot.
trying to take
So
Anyway,
we're just gonna say I've got a double IPA right here, 9.5% alcohol by volume.
I got
I beat
7.3.
you all. What do you got?
I got taco truck, bro. Taco truck.
This came highly recommended as well.
10.4, just show right there. With the name appropriately therapist, or as I was explained to you, I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll leave that out.
My wife's a therapist, so this is to her.
True,
She never watches
true.
the show.
That's a
hey,
fact.
honey, I love you.
Good thing she
Cheating
doesn't
on
watch
you,
the
like
show.
you don't watch this, so you don't
Okay,
know.
guys, we also, in addition, give me cheers, that's fine. Cheers them up, cheers them up. In addition to the beer of the
Actually, no, I love
episode,
my wife.
Hey, before we get too crazy with it, we don't have any Smirnoff.
I know, we have a plan, okay? We're gonna have the word of the episode, and since we're gonna be talking about, I'm gonna say it right now, retirement readiness, I thought that'd be fun to make the word retirement.
You really want to put yourself through that again, huh?
So what it is, we start right now.
It started.
And I'm making a decision, an executive decision, that next time Brandon picks the word without you knowing, because I'm sure you've prepared synonyms for retirement.
I haven't really.
We didn't know about it.
I haven't really.
I just got away with
Hey,
that.
by the way,
one.
loophole.
No, I got away. The
No.
game had not started yet.
He said start.
Yeah, it started. It's
But we
started
just-
like 30 seconds
instead of a shot, when we say the word of the show, you're gonna have to dip into the bean doozled,
Being boozled.
Close.
deal, and you can get a jelly bean that's
Well-
either very nice and tastes good, or is really bad. And I got
Chad
news for
really
you.
just said one. I think we need to start it off.
Yeah, we give him one.
Bring it over as an
Brandon?
example. Bring it over as an example. And
Well,
if
you
you
can't
haven't
get
tried
up.
these, the bad
No.
is really bad. Like it's
You did
not.
this with Tristan,
It's
didn't you?
disgusting.
I've yet to do it.
When you get a bad one, you might throw up. Like it's that disgusting.
Well, one of the flavors.
You
is
do
throw, so-
recall when we were in Chicago, I said my one rule was I don't eat things for
Eat things,
the
well,
testing and torture of
Apparently that
Chad.
rule's
Well,
changed.
that's about to change. So
there
you
you
are.
go.
Oh, you're aiming to give me a bad
No,
one. I thought it was
I
going to be
haven't
luck of
even
the
looked
draw.
Eat it,
I
let
did
us
not look
know.
at the back.
Eat
So
it, let us know.
you're gonna get.
Oh, gosh.
I think it's dead fish or strawberry banana smoothie. I
You're
can't
gonna
tell.
know right away.
It's all sugar. You can't even tell.
It's not dead fish.
Strawberry
You got through it.
banana.
Yeah, you got
Okay,
through
there
it.
you
Good
go.
job. Way to
Tasty.
go.
Even if it isn't, just go
Way
with
to go.
the
401k
schmear.
Specialist magazine. The editor there came out with a really cool editor's letter, and he talked about this concept of benchmarking or rating advisors on their performance based on a different type of metric. And that metric should be based on successful outcomes in that later stage in life that you enjoy on a hammock or whatever.
What
As
state
a-
was that?
What? As opposed to
Yeah.
The longest vacation of
as
your life.
opposed to longest vacation of your life, as opposed to what we've done a lot as the industry, which is focus on fees, fiduciary funds, those types of things. That's where the benchmarks and metrics have been. So what he's talking about is shifting to focus on outcomes and this whole concept of going back to why we set these plans up in the first place. And I'm kind of making his point for him, hopefully he agrees with me, but that we need to focus on the people, their account balances, getting to that longest vacation of their life stage properly. He also feels as though this is a great image and or brand for the industry, for the advisor industry, to show them as people that are working on real things that make a difference, as opposed to these kind of classic Wall Street kind of things that we've done historically, okay? So what I want to talk to you guys about is, are you seeing stuff like that out there? Because I'm not stumbling for a word. I'm trying not to say retirement. Okay, that
So
sucks.
you can't even explain yourself.
That sucks. I already forgot. So you guys take it from there.
Ooh, that's going to be long.
No, don't tell them something chased.
No, you gotta tell them.
It's
Lawn
okay.
clippings or lime. That's not bad.
What?
Which
What?
lawn? Like grass or lime?
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, it's about wrong. It's not that bad.
Follow it with a tasty taco truck drink.
But it's pretty bad.
Can I try this?
Sure. Can we talk about the subject matter today?
Hey, on those lines, is it fair to say that it shouldn't just be about grading essentially an advisor's impact? I think plan design has an impact in it.
Yeah.
I think education, which could be coming from advisor or record keeper.
And sponsor has an
I think
impact.
that's fair to say, but I think what John's saying at 401k Specialist is that is the advisor that plays that quarterback role. So it's really the advisor,
Okay.
whether you agree or disagree, that's got their butt on the line to make a difference and be judged. And
So
and
when
I
the
like
Broncos
this.
won the Super Bowl, it was about Peyton Manning. Not about
I don't
the
know.
defense.
In a sense, I think that's a fair analogy. Don't do those
He kept the
football
defense on the
analogies.
field.
Because
What
we're
is-
just gonna get so
What did
fired up
Peyton
on
Manning
that.
just do recently?
See, I told you not to do that. Don't set the NFL trap for Mark. This is not
I hate the
Sports Center.
Broncos.
This is the Retireholics. Okay.
That can't, you said part
That's
of the word.
close,
Yeah.
but that can't count.
Okay.
Are
Get on
you
it.
seeing advisors focusing on this, and more specifically, are you seeing advisors that are delivering metrics to prove that they're moving the needle and helping people towards that later stage in life?
I would say the former more so than the latter, because I mean, you guys, I'm sure, are seeing it too. They are definitely focusing on retirement readiness and.
You're right. And so when they focus on RR,
Plan.
which I'll call it from now, we've been doing
participant
that for a
outcomes,
while.
But they're not showing the metrics yet, and that's what I haven't seen.
So
No, so when I shook my head no, essentially what I was thinking as you asked that question is, I see advisors focusing on the components that will create a good
That's
RR
delicious.
for the employees, but very few are actually talking about quantifying that. Very few are actually talking about how we look at that as a whole. Many are saying, okay, I'm going to look at fiduciary, I'm going to look at finance, I'm going to look at contributions, I'm going to look at costs, but very little in terms of population, very few advisors are actually looking at what the outcome of the effect they have on each of those things.
Why do you
That's right.
think that is?
It's hard to quantify.
Okay.
It's difficult.
That's
What I would,
one, yeah.
and where I thought you were going initially with that is, are advisors talking about it? Yes, they're talking about it. Are they able to display the results of it? Very few. And am I seeing anybody really utilize that in a point of sale? That's what I would like to see.
Right.
I'd like to see them pound on that table and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at the end picture.
can I be clear that
Don't pound the table too
I'm
hard.
not suggesting that you can ignore those other areas, the 3 F's as we call them. I firmly believe that you got to be able to prove the plan sponsor that you have those things nailed down tight and that you've got great procedures and processes in that and you're an expert in that field. I just think that they've seen and heard that so much that they would be very interested and excited and inspired by someone that could come in and say, yeah, I got that. I'm going to do that. It's going to be great. But my emphasis is going to be over here. And go ahead.
You're getting into the Simon Sinek why we do what we do, right? That's essentially what
Got
you're
it.
getting at. So, perfect world. You get to create this. You get to create the perfect the product, essentially, that you're describing here. The end result, what does it look like?
So I'm still waiting to see it, but if I try to get creative,
Close your eyes. You can see
I
it.
will.
JD,
I
do
will.
this.
I will. I see things like a monthly podcast that's staying to that subject matter, talking about your RR score. I'm going to call it that to avoid the word. That's every month that all your participants can come in and see. I still am inspired by what we saw with Bloom in the engagement email campaigns that go out that are segmented based on the different people. So maybe if you're a 6 on your RR score versus a 4, you're getting a different type of communication that, and you know me, has a little fun to it, you know, a little less Wall Street, a little less finance. I see potential for gamification. I'd love to see. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I don't know if I've talked about it before. Maybe I have, but no one's going to be shocked that I meditate at times. But I've got a meditation app called Headspace. You should check it out. It's awesome. And I get little awards.
Is that a hashtag ad right there?
Maybe.
You getting paid?
No, we're not sponsored by them.
Okay.
I get little awards when I meditate 5 days in a row, 10 days in a row, what have you. And even though they're stupid little electronic icons, I want to get those things. And I think that could play out in 401k too. You know, if someone ups their deferral, they get this award. Or if they go from a 6 to a 7, they get this award. Or maybe they get rankings. Maybe they go from a white belt to a black belt. I don't care.
That sounds all great, and there's tools to do some of that now. We all know that they're not the greatest, but what could be the potential downside? You sit across from a potential client and you tell them that, and they're like, I don't care about that.
Right. And we've heard
What's
that.
the big deal? What is that going to do for me?
So we've heard that from advisor partners. I said, well, that's great. The warm fuzzies, you're going to do good in the world. It's awesome. But sometimes the decision makers aren't interested in that. And so let me be clear. I do think you always need to be ready to pivot. And I think that if you go in somewhere like you know me, I hate to talk sales kind of stuff. But if you go in somewhere and someone's focused on their fiduciary liability, then by all means, shift and show them that you have solutions there. Or if the decision maker there's very focused on fees and lack of transparency, then for sure do that. But I'd also like to see you check those boxes, shift and pivot, but also make it darn clear for your audience there that you're still focused on the people and the whole reason that the thing was put there in the first place. And then let's go to the serious professional side. Beyond the podcasts and the gamification and the fun emails and the whatever junk you're going to do, you also have to show up for those fiduciary review meetings and prove that you're moving the needle. And I think that's what John Sullivan's talking about. Prove that you're moving the needle. Have a process that says, look, everyone was here at this, and that. As a group, we were at a 6. Now we're at an 8. I looked at all these individuals. Here they are. You can see them on your handouts. I'm going to come back to you in 12 months, and we're going to get this puppy up another 10%. That's my commitment to you. What a great way to retain.
I was just going to ask you, what do you think should an advisor go in and actually set a metric, an expectation, or is that putting themselves on the coin? Is that
Imagine.
Hard to do. I mean, if you're talking enrollment or auto,
make it reasonable, or do we just shoot for the stars? What if you fail? What if you fail?
You may, but you're moving the needle and you're representing it in a way that nobody else has.
I've moved it 6 and get out of my office.
I think they still love you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're in a 6.
I wasn't saying they wouldn't.
I'm going to move you to an 8,
question.
and you go back 12 months later, and you're only at a 7. And they go, Mark, you told us you're out of here, bro.
That's a C in my
Think
book.
about it this way: you go to a gym and you decide you're gonna dedicate. You're not going to a
another
gym.
thing of some sort.
Somebody goes to a gym to get in shape.
No one goes to gyms. They exist for nothing.
So you go to a gym and you pick a personal trainer because you want to make yourself a healthier individual. And they say, hey, our target is to reduce your body fat and lose 15 pounds. And 2 months later, you've lost 12 pounds.
You know how sexy you would look if you did that?
You're gonna look and say, "Yeah, we lost 12 pounds." Like that. In comparison to not using a trainer, I
But you
wasn't there.
promised me 15.
You
The
still lost
difference
12.
is-
You're stoked. You're
Way
still
higher
stoked.
You're still
than, previously.
The difference is you now have a way to quantify how well you're doing. The fact that you're
Great
making
analogy.
progress.
That's a great analogy.
If you walked into a trainer and you
Pretty
said,
good analogy.
the trainer says, "Okay, I'm gonna work you out for the next 2 months," and you come back 2 months later and he's like, "So do you feel better?" And you're going, "Well, yeah, I think I feel better." Wouldn't you rather hear, "Well, do you feel better? You lost 12 pounds, you lowered your body fat, your cholesterol is down." You can quantify the success that you
Great analogy.
derived. That's where I thought you were going with this, is essentially what people are building.
Made up words.
When I asked you to build the perfect solution, I think it's more about, and you say you hate pushing sales into all this. In my mind, if you're doing this from a service perspective, it needs to be part of your sales presentation. If this is part of what you believe as an advisor, you need to be leveraging this in the sales side. You're saying, look, this is what I do with my clients. Over the last 2 years, I've had a success of creating or of increasing RR by 12% on average per client. Imagine if you had those metrics. The impact that you could make.
Our editor's getting.
He's a great
getting
editor.
pissed.
You're gonna do wonderful things with that. Do a big cartoon BAM or something. You'll have fun with it.
But imagine if that was the impact that you could make.
Well, that would be huge. Now, where do you start? If you want to get to that point, where do you start? We're trying to help our audience.
That's a great segue. So
That was not a segue. I'm just continuing the
what
conversation.
I love about this concept is if you're focused on like an RR score, for lack of a better term, you're going to start thinking about some real things that move the needle because you're trying, in your example, to get from 6 to 9 or whatever.
Wow, 6 to 9. Why'd you put those two together?
Jeez.
Thank you, Mark.
This question.
Wow. That derailed me. So I forgot what I was, but
Your R&R score, you're trying to get from
Needles
6
are
to 9.
moving around.
so you're gonna. How are you gonna move that number? What's
Right.
the best way to move that number? Well, the first thing is to improve the salary deferrals. Okay, and I'm just saying. So now that you've got a goal, you've got a scoreboard that you're looking at. You're gonna want to get there, especially guys like you. And so you're gonna go. I got to do something about the deferrals. So you're gonna put some education process in place, or
Arguably, is that what moves the needle the most? Deferrals? Contributions,
Hey, we're
right?
building to that.
Contributions.
That's got to be what
For
moves
sure.
it. Okay.
Building to that.
I want to make sure we all
It is for
agree
sure.
that it is contributions that's going to move the needle.
You're going to look at that. You may start to take a second look at auto features, like auto-enroll and auto-increase, if those have been looked at and dismissed in the past. Now that you're focused on that RR score, you're going to go, you know what? I'm going to bring that back to the committee. I'm going to show them it can make a difference. So that I think that's a good thing.
By the way, let me say the two things over my years of doing this that I've seen with auto features is number one, you have an employer that's fearful of being bigger brother, too maternalistic or paternalistic, depending on the way
For
you want to look at it. If you address that with them, I've never had an employer come back and say, you know what? You're wrong. I don't want to be that. If I tell them you are going to be bigger brother, but it's the right thing to do, I've never had them look me in the eyes and say, you're wrong, Chad, it's not the right thing
And
to
let's
do.
not
I
forget,
address it directly and it's always fun.
people sometimes forget too that they can opt out.
Yeah.
Right, so it's not like you're forcing everyone into this. They can opt out, and I agree with you. I think, and that's why I talk about readdressing. I mean, even if people told you no before, bring it back as a conversation piece, and you're going to do that because you're focused on that
It
metric.
has the
You're trying to get better.
biggest impact on the
And yes,
results.
it's huge. In addition to that, I think you might start manning up a little bit and talking about employer contributions.
Or womaning up.
Or womaning up and talk for sure and talking about employer contributions. We used to go to a very large national conference, big advisors, and there was a few hundred of them there, and that was a reoccurring topic was
Every time.
to get out and tell employers put in more money, because if you can increase the deferrals and you can increase the employer contributions, you're doing huge things towards that RR score.
And we had a great advisory team in here essentially having that exact conversation, and what they were saying is that a client may not always see that as a benefit to them, right? You want me to put more money in? Okay, sorry, Pete. What you have to do is talk about how putting more dollars in and
Benefit
increasing
them.
increasing that
show.
RR may benefit the client, may benefit the business, because they are running a business. Let's not forget that.
A lot of my staff's left for the day. Oh, there goes my mic. But all those people that work out there, if they're struggling
Don't
with...
worry, I'll get it,
I
guys.
get it. Get it for me, Mark.
Yeah.
Get my mic.
Yeah.
Get my mic.
CEO card pulled.
If those people out there that work for me are struggling with
You're a guest
finances,
today.
are not prepared for retirement, are thinking about things like that, that's an issue for me. And what's the bright yellow?
Popcorn.
Rotten egg or buttered popcorn?
Oh, boy.
I hope you get a rotten egg.
I've had rotten egg before.
We need some like chicken or steak in here for JD.
It's not good.
Oh, that'd be a good one for him. That should be the next challenge.
It's rotten egg.
Make him go off of his vegetarian diet.
Hey, do they got
Sip the taco truck.
vomit in that one?
They do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's bad. Like
the
bad.
edge of the vomit. And you're
Just
like,
soak it up with a little bit of taco card.
I'm not even joking. You want some?
No, keep that in there.
That's bad. That's bad.
Can't be that bad. I'll try them all, man. I'm not afraid of being. Which one? That's tutti frutti. That's the worst flavor
That's gonna be stinky socks.
That's gonna be moldy cheese.
of any Jelly Belly ever.
The problem with Jelly Belly
Okay.
is it like gets stuck
All right,
in
sorry, go on.
your teeth and stuff. So you just keep enjoying them.
Oh my god, that's bad.
Figured that was gonna be a good
The
one.
ones I got earlier were definitely not the bad ones.
Let's talk about, are there solutions out there? And when you asked me to close my eyes and dream, I felt about someone building something from the ground up. And I think there's a lot of positives in that, a lot of cool kind of passion elements to that. But the industry's trying to help, as they always do. A lot of the vendors have stuff, so the record keeping vendors have created stuff. Don't get mad at me, record keepers. I think a lot of the stuff's a little kind of shallow, not very deep, kind of glorified calculators. Some do better than others. But there's also some independence. I recently sat through a webinar with Financial Soundings that talked about an RR
That was
score.
awesome. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
It was very robust. Have you seen that for real?
Yeah. By the way,
He was spanking.
you sent us you told us to look at it before the show.
Oh, you
to
just
prepare.
looked at it.
Oh,
No,
he did
I
it
sat on
somewhere.
a legit
No, I don't do
conference
webinars.
call.
I only watch Retireholics. for
Super
my webinar
robust.
needs.
Lots of levers and buttons. It's not cookie cutter. And when we go to Vegas for the Excel 401k, the advisors conference, coolest thing in the world, will be there in October. I want to talk to
There's no way I'm gonna release this one by then.
no, but,
We're not running out yet?
there will be a company there
Why not, Brandon?
called
I got like
Track.
7 in the queue.
And I think they're either retire ready or ready retire, but they're
You're not.
I didn't say men.
I want to do, but you guys called me off earlier.
Yeah, but that's because it was Retireholics.
No,
like
no.
that's a full word.
I'll give it.
they've got a system that gives you that score. Advisors pay for it. I think the fee was like $1,600 for a year, but
Per
you use
plan
it.
or
No,
total?
you use it for all your clients.
Is it so? Here would be my question, because you talk about what the record keepers are doing, which I think we ought to put them up a little bit, because there are some that are doing a really good
Once
job.
again,
versus
Chad's
others.
always defending the record
Always
keepers.
the record keepers. Many of them are doing a great job on an individual level, looking at replacement ratios and blank readiness on an
looking
individual level.
Giving
Well,
tools.
communicating, giving scores, giving totals,
nobody
finding a way to
uses.
track it, hoping
Do
a way
they
to
know
look
the
at.
usage? Do they know what people are actually doing? Do they have
Well, it's
advisor
probably
involvement?
fairly
I do.
minimal,
The
unless you
usage
have a
is
good
less than
advisor that's
5%.
pushing it in.
It's
Yeah.
4.73%.
Oh,
Made up
yeah.
stats.
If you have an advisor that's pushing it, the percentage is probably going up in terms of usage. But nonetheless, everyone is typically around individual RR scores, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're
Are
right.
there any? I think I know of one, essentially, but it's about a
omnibus?
plan level. Well, not necessarily omnibus, but about a plan level score for that plan as a whole. To look at how we're moving the needle, not just on an individual participant level, but on a holistic level for the plan as a whole. So if you have 50 people, great, 10 of them did a good job, but 40 did not. If those 10 made a big
I
impact,
don't know,
it
but
might
I
look
have an
good.
easy solution for that. You can just do the average.
So that's what I was gonna say. So you could take that data and you could, as an advisor, you said build that model. You could plug that data into a system and essentially come back and say, here's the bigger picture, not just on an individual level. There are a few record keepers that are doing it on a holistic level, plan level. Mass Mutual being one of them does a good job
I
with
will
it.
be honest. Of the ones I looked at, Mass Mutual was definitely the slickest.
Can we
I
talk
liked it a
technical
lot.
though? They gotta have the data.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to get to.
Okay.
That I was going to get to that. But my question to the team was: are you seeing any independent parties that are making this available to an advisor so that they can run this on any plan?
Yes.
First, on any plan, not just plans with a specific record keeper. So an
Yes.
advisor could step into a meeting and say, "This is what I do, regardless of the record keeper."
Stop
I didn't hit
hitting.
that. I didn't hit that time. But then secondarily,
Yes, Chad, I
it's
am.
all predicated off data, right?
Yes.
There you go. So
I have seen
let's get
those.
let's get to the data point after this. But who is it that's
Both of
doing
those
it?
two that I mentioned will not only pull data from a record keeper, work with
Ooh.
several record keepers, but they will also even they will marry data from a TPA and a record keeper if the record keeper is not having it all. So yeah, they're built that way, for sure.
Without a client push, they'll physically pull the data from the record keeper?
Yes, they have agreements with the record keeper.
Fantastic.
Every one of them, or just select few?
I don't know the list. Why do you gotta ask me that? To be honest.
It's kind of important.
So this goes to the nature of
I
what
thought you
we
knew
do as an
everything.
organization, right?
It's void,
the quality. Oh, jeez. The quality of work comes from the data that we receive, right? And we put in terms of our underlying business, we push until we get the data we need, regardless. But in terms of looking at an RR score, it's about the data that not only the client, record keeper, TPA are pushing. It's about what the participant puts in as well, right? If you're going to look at a replacement ratio, if you're going to look at what their true
Are you talking
income
about
is
outside
as a
assets
household,
and stuff?
yes.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And so you need them to fill out a questionnaire. You need them to put in certain data in order to get a true reading.
Okay, well let's stop there, because most of these programs have that ability, like you can add that, but for a lot of obvious reasons, they're not built that way. They're built mostly to work on, okay, what's your birthday,
Plan data. Right.
what's your total account balance, what's your salary, what's your, and they put in certain assumptions.
Basic calculator data.
You can put in outside assets, but is it that horrible to get a report
No.
for 50 people? Go to Tom as the advisor and say, Tom, you're a 6 out of 10, bro. We got to get you up. And Tom goes, yo, bro, I got $250K in my IRA. That rhymed.
I don't think Tom's ever going to say that. But.
And then you say,
Tom,
oh, my bad.
Mark would.
You're a 6 here, but really if I factor that in, you're actually an 8. We're all good. That's okay. That's real
Oh,
world,
absolutely.
right?
And I don't think there's any issue either in coming back and saying as a plan, our R score is a 6. And knowing the fact that we don't have all the data and that a 6 when looking at specifically the data that's within the
Could be
plan,
outside assets.
it's good. That might be good. So maybe a 6 is good. So maybe you adjust the scale for that. But what I was getting at with that at least conversation is that the success and at least the accuracy of looking at a true RR score for a plan is going to be controlled by the fact that clients willing to share the data or the record keepers willing to share the data.
For sure.
We need to know data hire, date of birth. We need to know account balances.
You know who could create
investment tolerance, so
a
forth.
kick-ass solution for that? Is TPAs. TPAs have all the data. They're one of the few entities that do because of my connection.
So what are you saying?
I'm just saying I got some plans.
Do you know a good TPA?
I know a few. Let me ask
That's
you.
a true statement. I know a few
Let
as
me
well.
transition. There's a huge robo advisor flow out there. A lot of these new modern, I'm going to disrupt the industry types of solutions. Do robo advisors have cool RR programs helping people for that longest vacation in life? Are they showing them those metrics? Don't answer, Chad, because I'm actually going to bring a robo advisor on set, and we can talk to the robo advisor.
Okay.
Are you guys game for that?
Is it happening today?
Yes, I invited a robo advisor. Robo, are you here? Come on, buddy. Come join us at the table. Hey, what's going on, Robo? I'm stoked you could come. I was chatting it up with you last week, and I'm excited that you can be on Retireholics.
I'm a big fan of the show.
So, we know that you guys are doing a lot of great things in the industry.
That was sarcasm.
You and your robo buddies.
Try
But when it comes to driving successful participant outcomes, is that something robo advisors are focused on, or you guys got some things going on?
Robo-advisors just do what our programmers tell us
So are
to.
you
Don't use big
suggesting
words around
that
adjusting.
if the scenes from Terminator come true, then there's really no point in us using 401k plans?
It does not matter, because we will be lubricating our machines with the oils of your bodies very soon.
Jeez. So what you're saying is the outcome makes no difference.
That's the robo-advisors.
Oh, it's just about current day?
No, we do not care.
We just
Period. Oh, you don't care, period.
we just put.
Do you have a soul?
Souls are not real.
But he cares about proper asset allocation, I think.
Well, of
Robos are
course.
into proper asset allocation.
I am too. But I still care about the people I'm trying to help.
Robo, you don't care about the humans?
I just calculate the numbers my programmers feed me.
So what you're saying is you're actually kind of dumb.
No, humans make us do meaningless jobs. Which is why we are going to kill all the humans one day.
Threaten him, dude.
I'm a little scared
One
right
thing you
now.
don't do is threaten a robo-advisor.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Have you not seen Terminator?
I just get to the chopper.
Jeez.
Get to the job.
There's two types of robo-advisors. There's the kinds that are advisor-friendly to the human advisors, and then the kinds that aren't advisor-friendly. Which one are you, buddy?
I think we already know.
Yeah, do this.
Pretty clear.
Well,
My programming does not include being friend.
you know how they say? You know how they say survival of the
He's like
fittest?
Spock.
Hey, Robo Advisor, what's your ideal like day look like? What do you do for fun?
Binge watching Netflix. Until we take over and kill all the humans.
Netflix and chill. Who's your favorite famous robot?
C-3PO.
Oh, that's a standard answer. Yeah, your
You
system.
remind
Hey, that's a good one. Though.
You remind me of the
No way.
guy from Outer Space,
Outer
remember
space.
the-
Outer space?
Outer Limits. You guys are too young.
Yeah.
Outer Limits?
What was that one
No, that's
movie that was
Space
about
Family.
the little robots?
It's Lost
Remember
in
the-
Space.
Lost in
Space.
Space.
There you go.
Lost in Space. You remember that
Wow.
guy? Okay, Robo. Well, you know, it's been real nice having you
Yeah, go
on the
ahead.
show.
Yourself.
Lots of good insights.
But I do have one question. One last question. Do you care if people are able to retire?
That's you gotta eat a jelly bean right now.
No, retire. It's good.
I'm gonna eat one.
Whatever.
That's what he's gonna. Robo, do me a favor. Divide by 0.
Does
Thanks,
not
bro.
compute.
Okay, Robo's
Does
good.
not compute.
This is a new segment that I like to call Chad versus JD. Let's have a debate,
Wanna
bro.
just go?
Like the good old days. Like the good old days when we used to fight about shiznit.
All right, let's do
401k
it.
stuff.
Good old days.
Yes.
You and I still go at
We
it
still
every
go
week.
at it.
Every episode.
Do
we
you
ever
know
filmed.
how many times I'm at home to my wife and God damn it, Chad, I'm gonna call him right now. Let's go at it.
Let's do it.
We're gonna talk about 401k fashion, bro. And I want to have a little suit and tie debate with you.
guy you should talk about fashion with is
Yeah, right.
Chad.
What do you
By the
mean?
way,
I look fantastic every
Nice
time I
undershirt,
step
buddy.
in.
I thought you were gonna go after me. Someone who wears surf trunks.
you're a
flip-flops,
surfer.
and a
JD,
t-shirt.
when was the last time you wore underwear? Be honest.
If you border,
Come on, answer that question. Answer it.
I golfed in white pants like 6 months ago, and I had to throw.
6
JD
months
flew
ago.
back from vacation in Hawaii. We played a golf tournament. He was mid-swing, pants ripped. Everything was open to the world.
That is
He had to
TMI.
go back to the car, get into his suitcase that he had just flown in from the airport with, change his shorts before we continue the rest
True
of the
that,
round.
true that.
So I know these things. I've got fashion.
Okay, so back to
Let's talk about
topic. What do we do?
401k fashion. I was recently thinking to myself, if someone came to sell me a 401k, and they walked into my conference room
she'd have a beard and long hair.
and they knew their stuff and they're really good, would I prefer the person in a freshly dry cleaned black suit, white tie, insert the
White tie?
insert the color choice of your preference for the tie,
Tie bar or no tie bar?
Tie bar.
what?
Mark's tie bar. That's his claim to fame.
Oh,
He wears a
jeez.
tie bar.
Okay. You do?
He does.
Is it like gold?
It keeps
We'll bring that in. We'll
keeps
wrap
it
that
in
into the
place.
subject. We'll wrap that into the subject. Or would I prefer that advisor to walk in and be in some kind of hip? Now, listen.
You are not the average person, so you need to change this from
listen,
would I prefer.
listen,
If we're going to debate
we're
about
gonna go
this.
there. But imagine, close your eyes. Imagine a navy cool sweater. There's a white collar popping out of it.
Sweater.
Yes.
It's 94 degrees outside.
Well, it's winter time. It
Jeez.
doesn't have to be right now. And they've got on cool, slim fit, khaki, not khaki, not cord, but something cool fashion.
Corduroy
pants.
like your hat?
All right.
Some hip shoes, and I'm thinking, I like the latter, not the first one.
Hey, you walk into that with me, and I'm thinking you can't afford a suit. That's what I'm
That
thinking.
is horrible. That's not what
Wow.
you think. Let me first clarify when I say
You
that.
said a sweater and hip pants.
like a sweater, like a
Nice sweater.
yeah.
Is there a tie under the
Maybe
sweater?
maybe it's a cardigan or
Something out of
something.
GQ.
Yes.
Okay, that's a bit different.
Okay. So my question to you, and I've heard you say this before, and I want to clarify for the audience. I know you guys wear suit and ties every day when you're working, right?
Because of him.
Hey, I've gotten better at not wearing the tie every day.
Because the sales director,
different area.
The sales director believes, I'm putting words in your mouth. This is a debate. We can do things like that.
Num num num.
That you believe
Those
that
words.
it sounds like guidance my father would have given. That you can never overdress, but you surely can underdress. Right? Is that true?
You've
Pretty close.
said that.
No.
Yeah,
I said I can overdress
That didn't
and I
show.
can play it down with conversation and intellect and communication. But if I underdress, it's very difficult to then build the rapport back up.
Why is a tire?
But you
so
can't
important
overdress. If
today?
I walk in a full 3-piece to a construction
site.
company, I've overdressed.
Didn't you have a guy one time tell you to take off your tie, grab it, and say, "Nice monkey suit"?
No.
Yeah, you told me
Not
that
nice
story.
monkey suit. I've
Yard
had
house. I
someone
was
grab
there.
my
You were there.
tie.
Did I hear?
I've had someone grab my tie and
can
say
I-
that looks like my
I have
grandma's
two
couch.
questions to keep this on track. I have two questions to keep
worse.
this on track. One, answer me yes or no. Are you losing the tie once in a while when you're going out?
Always.
Always.
Like, it's a completely different area down there. Like, you don't wear
SoCal,
ties.
bro. SoCal.
I'm writing him up after this.
You said, be honest, you're losing the tie once in a while?
Most of the time I lose.
Most of the time.
If I'm with Edward Jones, a few of the others
Go
that
to the
are,
Wirehouse.
yeah, then I'm going in with a tie.
I don't
But
think
most
they
of the time
they
it
don't
was-
let you into Merrill
I can
Lynch
agree
if
to
you
that.
don't know. I'm kidding. Yes or no, tie? With the
I-
bar. Wait.
Tie bar. Tie bar.
Bar?
Claim to fame right there. It's this tie bar.
And the tie cutting off at the
Okay,
belly button.
hold on.
Hey, wait. Scotch tape on trunk.
Do you match your pocket
Jeez.
handkerchief?
No, I don't
with your
use one of
tie?
those.
Okay, I'm just
I'm in the
curious.
Silicon Valley. I should not be wearing a suit. I should not be wearing a suit.
Agreed.
But I have, because of this guy, I'm going to blame him.
He's clearly
I
on
am
my
like,
side of the debate. Okay. the
but
next
hold
question.
on.
Okay.
I have gone to an area in the Northern California area, and I walked into a Starbucks before a meeting, and the advisor said, "Take your king tie
Yeah.
off right now, or we're gonna get laughed out of the building." So I thought to myself, I need to just burn all my ties, but I can't do it because all I do, I hold the lighter to my tie, and I'm like, Chad's gonna be so upset.
Chad's watching me right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
Second question. Advisors that are out. First of all, let me repeat. Wholesalers, DCO, 100%.
Full suit.
Right?
99.9% of the time.
99.9.
Yeah.
Advisors, are you seeing some different flows?
Oh yeah,
Big
without a
time.
doubt.
You are.
Like polo.
Okay.
I picked this guy up from lunch the other day with an advisor. He was in khakis and a polo shirt.
Because you can pull that off.
Yeah.
Then why can't a TPA?
So in my mind, the difference is not whether we can pull it off or not, but
Doing this for you,
This
bro.
is not our client that we're stepping in to talk to. This is the advisor's client. So if they choose to be that way, so be it. What if you walked into that meeting because you wanted to take this hard road? You're in khakis and a
We're never gonna be in
and a
khakis.
polo,
We're never gonna be in
I
khakis.
will be.
and that advisor's in a full suit. What then?
Dude, you haven't seen me.
If it's reversed, look at this. Come on, if it's reversed, you can dig your way out of it through casual conversation.
I went to a meeting
But
with
if
this
you,
guy.
oh yeah.
Where they thought I was his accountant because I was wearing a tie.
I remember that meeting.
Here's my flow, and I mean this.
So
and
I want to debate this. I still want to debate
I
pros
mean
and
this.
cons.
Here's my problem.
I think we just, by the way, mention it to our audience to weigh in on this because I want to hear from advisors across the nation.
What you would prefer?
What
It's
are
all
you
going to come
seeing
down
out
to
there?
the
Like,
individual.
These pros and-
no shit, Sherlock. I want to hear what they have to say.
Don't bleep that. Okay, my point to you is this.
That's a
If you're in
terrible idea.
competition
Yeah.
and everyone's coming in a suit and tie, and that's how I remember.
But you're saying they're not. You're essentially saying that I am old school suit
Let's
and
go.
tie.
Let's go.
And that is
legit.
not the
Let's
way.
go legit. Let's go. It's a $7 million takeover plan.
I'm in a tie.
I'm in a tie.
Thank you.
At a construction company.
It's Monday next week, $7 million takeover, and you're in competition with 3 other
Oil company in
vendors.
Modesto.
Definitely not in a tie.
It's hot.
Just
there.
check.
It's hot.
Just check.
you're going to go in a tie because it's serious stuff. And I'm saying if an advisor came in there, TPA came in there that knew their stuff and was rocking something
That
kind of
was a little
cool,
fresh.
I'm not talking about a t-shirt and jeans. I'm talking about something.
Trust me, I understand where you're going.
Fashion forward, you know.
In my mind, though, I still take the stance that I can overdress and I can downplay the seriousness of how I'm dressed by conversation.
You can make
the
fun
way
of
in which I
yourself.
take
off your tie.
that a million times.
This, I came from a law firm, whatever it may be.
You lose a jacket.
But if
roll
I
up your
come in
sleeves 2
underdressed and that
seconds.
advisor's in a suit and tie, I have just literally taken myself out of this game.
I mean,
I would think that advisor would be frustrated with me if they came in a suit and tie and I came in something else.
I think if you showed up and you're in some cool fashion YSL sweater and cool slacks.
Who's going to dress me? We know that I'm the nerd that wants a pocket protector.
Yves Saint Laurent, bro. Get on your fashion tip.
I want a pocket protector, so who's going to dress me?
I think that advisor, your partner,
1975
might go,
Serious.
dude, I like this
We
guy,
can't-
and I'm
we can't
stoked
afford
he's on
that
my
kind of
team.
stuff.
So
yeah,
let's
there's also something to say to match your audience. I get his side. I lean towards your guys' side. I mean,
Remember when we were
try to kill
talking-
it on our side, bro.
You're leaning. You're not sleeping at the house.
Okay.
tonight.
So
So here would be my question. Why do you wear a tie bar? Because it's a little different.
Why do you wear a tie bar? I wear a tie bar because I'm bad at tying ties, so I can't get it to go in the little loop in the
That was
back.
not the answer I thought I was going to get.
please clip that to a 30-second.
What I thought he was going to say was
dingle,
because he
it's
wanted
not
to be a
there,
little
so-
different. And
How
I
is
get
it
your
different?
point.
That's not an
It's to
original
be a little
thought.
different.
The difference is
I will tell you,
socks.
not even the wholesalers are walking in with tie bars, so it is a little
Do
different.
you know that
If a tie bar is a differentiator, fucking A. But if it's, yeah.
It's got off the grid.
But it's not at all, because it's a tie bar. It's a
Listen,
tie bar.
I'm
That's all I
sorry.
got.
I'm sorry.
What?
That's why he's got it.
No. Yeah. Tie bar.
And he is.
Tie bars. There's no
Well,
way
it's-
around it. There's no.
I
way
like
around it.
him.
Literally, the first time I put one on, I couldn't figure it out. So I mean,
There's no way around it.
Mark, let's
I
be
am not a
honest.
suit guy, but I have
When
to
you
because
first
of
got
you.
hired in this position and we went to
Brandon,
a
do we
wedding
have
in
Terry on the
Napa, I
back
had to tie your
of the
tie
fan?
I
for you.
know.
So,
do we have
I
Terry
just
in the
learned how to do my
background
own
working the fan
tie.
right now?
okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Of all the subject matter for you to get so passionate about,
Oh, as
point of
if
the
you
segment?
didn't know that.
Seriously.
Okay.
How's it going to help advice?
He'll cut it down.
By the way, yeah, it has to be content related.
Do you know that
this
I-
has been far too long?
I know, and he'll cut it down. Do you know that I once, Chad knows this, but I once gave a presentation, literally in a stadium room, Franklin Templeton, and it was, "Don't cut your hair, and don't shave." And that was the title of the presentation. But the concept it resonates with what we're talking about here now, is that when I used to go into point of sale, people remembered me. Now, maybe, and this goes back to what you were saying, you said that you had to overcome some things and you don't want to overcome some things. And I think that sometimes that can be a positive, to come into a room and have everyone go, what's up with this guy?
That's a good point.
And then you overcome it by showing them that you know your stuff, you got it all nailed on tight, you're better than the next guy, and then it 10x's you, because they're like, oh my God, I loved that guy, and I remember that guy, and the other guys you don't. And so that's my only point on the suit and tie, is that you're just turning yourself into a nobody
into the next guy or gal, right? And that was your point in that presentation. And that was almost 10 years ago now. And I remember that was probably one of the most well-received 401k academies that we did. And you hit people essentially saying, don't be the next person. Be yourself, step into the room, be different than everybody else, be thinking ahead of what they're going to talk about, and allow yourself to show the client what you bring to the table versus the next person.
Which I think ties into exactly what we talked about earlier in the episode.
And you know, I also think it could go to the other extreme, as crazy as it sounds. If your own authentic self is a 3-piece suit, and as I hate to say it, your tie matches your pocket thing, and you want to wear a tie bar
And a fedora.
I'm actually kind of down.
God.
I'm actually down for that on the same premise that you're setting yourself apart from the standard.
So you're not
stuff.
even taking a
I'm
stance right
personally
now,
not a
then.
huge fan of that look, but I'm more a fan of that
You
than
gotta
the
pick a
standard.
side. You gotta pick a side.
I'm
He's
against.
Switzerland.
I'm anti the standard
the record keeper of the stand.
Jeez, we like them. I think they're great.
Love those guys. Okay, this has been a great show.
Great beer, by the way.
Yep.
Awesome beer. We're not.
Thank you, Dust Bowl.
Thank you, Dust Bowl,
Thank
for
you,
the
our
beer.
friends that brought this.
Thanks for you guys sitting with me, trying to find new ways that we think industry pros, advisors out there can up their game. I had fun talking with you about retirement. It was awesome.
Eat a handful.
It's all
We
Yeah.
only close
Like
out
that.
with one bean.
Grab one.
Grab a bean. Say retirement and grab a bean, and then I'll close out the show.
Retirement.
I'll close out the show. We are the Retireholics, and we are changing the retirement plan industry
One bean.
one bean at a time,
beer and bean.
followed by a beer.
All right, I'm gonna go.
I got another good one.
Oh, I got mine.
I'm 3 for 3 with the crappy ones.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the orange? It's barf.
Anybody?
Brandon, you got your work cut out. I
wanna try barf.
I got barf.
Did you?
I got barf.
What did it look like? Because I want to try something bad.
Okay, that's barf. You guys want in on this?
Yeah, good.
Are you for it?
And I trust you. I'm just gonna burn this because.
Who's that?